In this session, I'm going to show you a Vue.js powered website which has authentication. Uh, so it uses login and password to authenticate the user, and that user basically is going to be configured in the ArcIAM, and the security, the roles, and the security clearance of that user will be configured in the ArcIAM to control the user's access level. So the data will be stored in an ArcNoSQL database, and all of the communications to the backend is through the ArcWebServer. So our cloud is made in Australia, and we are based in Ipswich, Queensland. The applications of our cloud includes but not limited to integration, ETL, automation, workflow. You can use our cloud as alternative for bespoke SSIS, Azure Logic Apps, Azure Functions, AWS Lambda Functions, AWS Step Functions, or any backend services. And it is a good alternative uh, for rapid development and rapid deployment. And we offer low code development and drag and drop orchestration designer, web based interface. And so you don't need to install any client programs to your development machine. We have built-in services like relational database, blob storage, queue, NoSQL, and identity access management. We have the following are the benefits of using our cloud. So the overall cost of development is going to be reduced, and you will have a faster time to market and reduce complexity of the solution. We are available in iPaaS or self-hosted on-premise or virtual private cloud. So what is ArcIAM? IAM stands for Identity Access Management, and ArcIAM is an identity access management framework that enables admins to control and manage the access of users to systems, applications, and resources based on their identities and assigned permissions. So applications of ArcIAM include authentication, JWT token generation, role-based access control, security clearance-based access, and role-level security of data. So ArcNoSQL database is a document-oriented NoSQL non-relational database system that provides high performance, scalability, and flexibility for handling large amounts of structured and semi-structured data. And we have two Arc NoSQL connectors. One is the Arc NoSQL sender, which is used for uploading or updating JSON data to an Arc NoSQL database. And we have the Arc NoSQL receiver, which is used for retrieving JSON data from an Arc NoSQL database. So the Arc NoSQL sender payload can be an array of insert, update, delete, or operation. So the insert is determined by an action called insert, or if the action field is missing. And an update operation is determined by an action called update, and the delete is determined by an action called delete. So, what is a Arc web server? So, we have two web API connectors. So, the Arc web server, which is used for serving web API calls, it is capable of handling JSON, XML, or text requests, and it has integrations with ArcIAM to enforce security and access control to backend resources. The web response connector is used for sending response message back to the caller of the web API. So you can send error or the response data. And the server endpoints for the Arc web server are the following. So the this is just for the JSON uh, endpoint. So you can look at this endpoints. And Vuejs3 is a JavaScript framework for building user interfaces. It introduces the composition API, allowing developers to organize component logic into reusable functions. It has smaller bundle size and enhanced performance, resulting in faster loading times. It also offers improved TypeScript support, and upgrade from Vue.js 2 is seamless, ensuring backward compatibility with Vue.js 3. Developers can build modern performant applications. So uh, I will demonstrate the end result of this demo before we proceed. Uh, so what I'm going to show you is a fictitious MIB uh, application for viewing agents and aliens. So it is secured by authentication, and so I'm going to log in as Agent K. So once logged in, you can see the agent or alien. So this menu is controlled by role-based access. So it depends on the agent's permission. So the agent's menu will retrieve the list of agents uh, with clearance level. So depending on the clearance of the agent, the agent will see the different levels of records depending on the agent's clearance level. And the aliens menu will also be similar to the agents. It will show the records of aliens that are accessible to the agent via the clearance level that is assigned to the agent. So if I log in as another agent, so agent J, which is a junior uh, agent, will only see the aliens menu and the those aliens that are applicable for uh, agent J's clearance level. So let's start. First, I will log into ArcCloud. So if you don't have access yet, you can go to arccloud.com and go to the register uh, menu and register. So this is free. You don't have to enter your credit card number, and you get a 15-day free uh, access. Okay, so first we are going to create uh, an NoSQL database where we're going to store the aliens and the agents. So in the integration ArcNoSQL menu, you can create ArcNoSQL database. So here I'm going to create an MIB database. And once that is created, take note of the ID of the database. Next, we're going to create uh, an orchestration that will upload the uh, the agent and the alien data to the newly created ArcNoSQL database. So I'll grab a start node and then two text sources. So in the example, in the source code, uh, you can uh, get the source data. So when you download the code so from GitHub, the data folder contains the agents and the aliens. So I'll grab the records for populating the agents uh, in the database, and I will grab a NoSQL Arc NoSQL sender, and I will connect that to the Arc NoSQL and get the Arc NoSQL database ID from the Arc NoSQL databases menu. So I will paste that ID and create a collection called agents. So the input is array because it's composed of an array of agents, and it will create the collection automatically. So for the aliens, we'll grab the alien record from the example, and I'll put it into the second string source. And then I will duplicate the Arc NoSQL sender and name that as aliens. Next, I will grab a terminator and we'll name that as a demo 9. So it was alien agents and alien uploader. So I'll save that and I'll play it. So once you hit play, it will open up a pop-up window and it will basically submit the the orchestration to the development server, and it will compile it and run it and provide feedback back to the UI. So the UI will show you the execution results. Okay, so everything is green, which means that it executed successfully. So let's take a look at the data flowing to each of the nodes. So the input coming from a string input is this, and it was given to the ArcNoSQL Center, and ArcNoSQL Center then uploads it to the MIB database on the agents collection. And the aliens, on the other hand, is uploaded to the aliens collection in the MIB database. So let's go to the MIB database and let's look at the data. So the aliens data has been created and the agents data has been created as well. So that concludes the uploader. So we'll close this. We don't need that anymore. So the data is now uploaded to the database. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a web service, a API that will retrieve data from the agents. So in the integration click on orchestration designer. So we'll grab an ArcWebServer, and then we'll grab a NoSQL ArcNoSQL receiver, and then we'll grab a web response, and we'll grab uh, a, a terminator. Next, we're going to populate the data for the ArcNoSQL receiver. So I have here a filter. So what what we're going to do is filter the records that is going to be retrieved by the ArcNoSQL receiver, depending on the security clearance of the agent receiving. So the expression is clearance level less than or equal to the security clearance of the agent. And I'm going to provide the Arc database ID. So let's go to the list of databases and grab the Arc database ID. And I'll say that this filter is an expression by checking that box, and I'll limit the number of documents to 100. And next is we are going to I'll save this as a demo demo 8 or demo 9. We'll say that this is the agents retriever. I'll save that. So what I we're going to do is we're going to configure the Arc web server. So the Arc web server has a web ID which uniquely identifies the URL of this web API endpoint. It also have an IAM ID, which basically is used for giving it the parameters, the IAM parameters, yeah, application roles, and minimum security clearance. So we'll set up these parameters. So what I'll do is in the integration menu, you go to ArcIAM and open that, and we're going to create uh, a new IAM called MIB. Uh, so IAM. So we'll call it MIB. Next, we'll grab the IAM ID of the MIB and put it in the orchestration designer. Next, we are going to create users and roles. So in the ArcIAM, so we'll create two agents. So we'll add agent J, and so we'll also populate the email with the same, and we'll put the password, and we'll save that. So I'll type in the password. Next, I'm going to create another agent K, and which is a senior agent, and we'll populate the email and the password, and then I will save that. Next, we're going to create some roles. So under the MIB, we're going to create roles. So we'll create a role of agent, sorry, alien, aliens. Okay, sorry. I'll create an application purchase. Okay, so we'll create applications. So we'll have the security clearance. So this is a special application that is used for managing security clearances. And we'll call another application agents, and another one is uh, uh, aliens. And then I will create list of of roles. So we'll create admin role, and we'll create a level 5 role, and we'll create a level 3 role. And then we're going to assign roles and applications to the users. So in the so first we're going to create an application role for J, agent J. So the security clearance for agent J is level 3. And we'll create another uh, security clearance for agent K, which is level 5. And we'll create a access to aliens for agent J, so J can access aliens. And agent K, uh, will create access to aliens as well. Uh, and finally, last but not the least, will create access to the agents. Uh, so so agents are accessible by agent K, but not by agent J. Okay, so uh, what we'll do is we'll configure the access to the web server. So in the orchestration designer, we have the roles. So the role is for this is agents is agents admin. So it means that users with agents role, sorry, agents application can with admin role can access this this backend and security clearance minimum level of level 1. So if there is an error, we have to send the error back to uh, the sender as well. So it's a web API caller. So I'll put a web response uh, and connect it to the error node of the ArcWebServer. So if say you don't have permission or you don't have the right clearance, so it will be sent to the client, and then we'll save that. So we'll test this. Uh, so what we're gonna do is we're going to hit on play and and connect to this web API using a Postman. Okay, so we'll take note of the web ID and copy that. So next, I'll open up a Postman and I'll open up a basically we'll create agents dev. So here, so we have the URL and so the URL is arccloud.com arc integrator API and then API and then dev JWT process JSON and then give it the ID of the web server. And next, we're going to configure the authorization. So uh, we are going to generate a token using uh, using the another URL. Okay. So so I will generate a token for the MIB agent. So this is K at MIB.com. The client secret is the one that I have configured, and the IAM ID is the IAM ID that is specified in the IAM. So this one here. So let's go back to Postman and put that in the IAM and hit on send. So that token can then be used in the agent's request. So bearer token is the authorization is bearer token, and put the authentication token in there and hit on send. Okay. So it looks like it has triggered that, uh, but there's an error. So I think we have to put another error handler here. So that's why it's hanging, because it has encountered an error, and so it says value cannot be empty parameter. Oh, so the collection is empty. Okay, so there's an error in that. So what we'll do is we'll fix that error. We'll say this is agent, okay, and uh, and also uh, have a error handler that will handle that and send the error response back to the caller. So I'll hit on save and I'll play that again. So this orchestration means that when you connect the error to the web response, so if the node encounters an error, the error is going to be sent back to the caller of the API. So we'll hit the API again, and this time it has successfully received the uh, the records. So we'll pause developing the API for now, and what we'll do is we're going to deploy the uh, the API to the production server. So we click on save and close, and then in the demo uh, 9 MIB agents receiver, I will deploy that to the production server. Okay, so that is being deployed. So what we'll do is we're going to come back to the Vue.js code and start coding the retriever for the agent. So I'm the URL that is exposed by production is different from the dev. So the URL is called web.jwt. So web.jwt. So if I send that, assuming okay, so it's the production API is now deployed, and it's being served by the ArcCloud server. So we'll use this URL uh, to fetch the agents. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the BS code, and we'll start doing the front end for the agent. So this we will start with a blank HTML page, and what I'll do is I will populate that by copying data from the finished, from copying codes from the finished, and I'll explain to you each code. So I'll copy the code from the head. So say we'll call this MIB and in the title, and then we'll put the necessary elements, the CSS and the JavaScript. So we have the Bootstrap CSS, the Bootstrap icons, the main CSS of the page, and then the JavaScript. So we have the Bootstrap bundle. We have jQuery, which is needed by Bootstrap. And then we have polyfill for backward compatibility with older browsers. We have Axios, which is used for sending requests to our web API. So this is for doing AJAX requests. And then we have the Vue.js3 JS file. So next we'll grab some HTML. So I'll have the div, the main div element where uh, the uh, Vue.js is going to do its thing, and then we're going to grab a header, the header menu. So this is the just a menu. So and what I'll do is I will play this. So let's see. Uh, okay, so we have the menu. So we have the header, and we have agents, aliens, login, logout, source, and video for the menu. So source and video are not needed. So if you wanted to see this video, you just click on the video and it will go to the URL of this video and the source code for this demo. So we have uh, we have defined the a BEF agent, which basically will show this link if the user has access to the agents, and same is true with the aliens menu. If the user has access to the aliens menu, this particular link is going to show. And if the user is logged in, then it will, if the user is not logged in, then it will show the login menu. And if the user is logged in, it will show the logout menu. So we also have corresponding click events to handle the show agent. If you click on the agent, it will call the show agent method, and show aliens method when you click on the aliens, and show login when you click on the login, and show and logout when you click on the logout. So next we're going to grab the the Vue.js code. So we'll start with script, and we'll build from there. So Okay, so that's the view, and then we'll close the script tag. Okay. Okay, so this is the basic uh, JavaScript for the view. So mib app is equal to new view, and then you define the element which will it will operate on, and then the data node, and then we'll do the uh, methods. Okay, so in the data, we'll define several fields. So we'll say we'll have this fields, and I will explain each of these fields. So the agents will say that uh, the is a boolean property that tells whether the user has access to the agent menu, and aliens is a boolean property which tells if the user has access to the aliens menu, and the login boolean property which tracks if the user is logged in or not, the a username and a password which basically uh, is bound to the user and password entry. So, and yes, uh, some more field if there's a login error, if there's an error when logging in. Also, we have a property to handle the token that is returned by the web API, where we grab the token, and when then we decode the token, we will assign it to the decoded token field. The API login URL is where we're getting the token. So this is the URL where you get the token, and the retrieve agent's URL is going to be the URL that we uh, is the URL where we're getting the agent's data. So we will get that from the Postman collection. So we have to uh, get grab that uh, from this from this URL. Okay, so that's the URL of the agent. Next, we'll we'll grab the HTML code for the login. So from the finished, so we have here the Bootstrap dialog, which is going to be used for uh, accepting login from the login and password from the user. So we have a modal dialog, and this is the structure for the modal dialog. So we have the control for getting the username, and I will and that field is called username. So I will make this username, and then I did bound I bounded I did a two-way data binding by using the bmodal uh, uh, name, and then for the password uh, I have the password control here, and I did a two-way data binding to the password field that is defined in the data. So the username and password fields are used here. in the login. And then we have the login. When you click on the login, it will call the login method. And when you click on the cancel, so it will uh, call the hide login method. So we'll grab the method calls from the finished. So we'll have the hide login, and we'll put that in the demo. So, and then we'll grab the login as well. Uh, so the login code is this one. So, and then we'll grab the show login button as well. So we'll put that in here. So the show login is called when you click on the menu. In the menu, there is a login, uh, and that will call the show login. So, and that will basically call a jQuery. So it will do a jQuery uh, for the login model div element, which is the top element of the model dialog, and then it will do a model show. So this is the jQuery uh, dialog call. And then when you click on the hide login, it will hide that model dialog. And when you click on the login, what it'll do is it will. So I'm assigning the this variable to a variable name called me, because that this is no longer available when you do the access call. So first, the access will do the access will do a post call, and so similar to what's being done uh, in the Postman. So we have the get JWT token. Uh, so we have a uh, post method with the body. So you specify the client ID, client secret, and the IAM ID. So the IAM ID is actually the ID that you get from the IAM in the that we created. So this one here is the IAM ID. So I'm going to grab that, and I will put that in the code. So this one is the IAM ID, and then the username is going to be assigned to the client ID, and the client secret is going to be populated with the password that is entered by the user. So the content is application JSON. There is no need for authentication, so it's an anonymous endpoint. And then once Axios comes back with the response, we will check if the response is a string. So if it's a string, that is basically uh, uh, the JWT token payload. We will say that you're logged in, and then the token is going to be taken from the response, the data, and then we will decode the token, and then we will hide the login. We will hide the login modal dialog. So this is the hide login, and it will hide the model dialog, and then it will clear any error if there is any. And if its response is an object, we'll say that you have an invalid password. Uh, then we do a catch for other errors, and it will say in login and password. So we'll play this and let's see what's and then we'll see. Okay, so we'll save that and we'll play it. Okay, so when I click on login, you the pop-up comes out, and we can say we can type in the j at mib.com, and password is uh, the password that I created. Okay, so as you can see, if I type the wrong password, it gives you the invalid login password. Okay, so if it's successful, uh, so we can track this. Let's see, developer tools and see what's happening. So this is how to debug a call. So we have a 200 status, and so let's have a look at the data. Uh, so we have the payload, and then the response is a token. So it is able to retrieve that, but it doesn't seem to be closing. So let's have a look at what's going on in the code. So if response is string, so let's pause here, and I'll hit on login. So it comes back. Uh, so login is true. It took the data, but there's no decode JWT, so it's showing map an error. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is going to copy the rest of the codes from the the other uh, source code. So we'll grab the code JWT token and put that in the MIB demo, and we'll put it here, and then the hide login is going to be called. Then it will set the login error to empty. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to uh, uh, grab the HTML code that will render the data retrieved by the agent's call. So here we're grabbing the HTML segment for the for displaying the data. So we'll put that uh, uh, under the model dialog. So we have a is busy. So if the Ajax call is in progress, it will show the loading icon, and then we have here a div that basically shows or hides depending on the number of records. So if the number of records retrieved from from the agent's call is greater than zero, it will show the table. And in the table, we have a an iterator using B4. It will iterate for each of the columns in the agent, and it will display the value of the column title. And we have an iterator for the records, and basically it iterates through each of the records, and then it will iterate to each of the columns and then render the column value in that span. So next, what we'll do is we'll grab the code that will retrieve the agents. So the agents will be uh, from the show agents call. So when you click on the agents menu, it will call the show agents, and it will basically call and do an Ajax call by via Axios, and so it will assign the this which is the view object to the me variable, and then it will say I'm busy, and so it will render the progress icon, the busy icon, and then it will populate the table name with agents, and then it will perform an Ajax call using Axios to the retrieve agents URL, which is the one that we copied from Postman. So the retrieve agents URL is this one. And then it will assign the token. So let's have a look at the token. So the token is basically once the token is fetched by the login, it will call the decode JWT method, which basically goes to the token, and and basically it creates a token variable, which is an object, an empty object, and then it gives a property of raw to the token and assign it the token row token, which is a long string of base64 encoded values. And then the header will be uh, uh, populated, the token header, with the token, with converting the token to base64 base64 decoder, and same is true with the payload. And then the we have a check. So there is a property in the token called Arc application role, and if that is populated with aliens admin, and we will show the aliens menu to the user, and if the user has a role of agent administrator, it will show the agent menu, and then it will assign the token to the decoded token variable. So let's have a look at the show agent. So when the user uh, if the user has an agent's permission, so the agent's uh, basically the agent's boolean property is going to be set to true, and the agent can see that menu, and they can click on that menu, and the show agents method will be called. So this will be used to pull data from actions. So it will retrieve the uh, the data from this or this URL and use authorization bearer token from the token retrieved when the user logged in. And if uh, that basically comes back with the data, and the data is a string, it will show an alert message. So if it's not an array, then there's an error encountered, and that could be the permission level or something like that. And then the records is assigned with the data from the response if that data is an array, and it checks if the record is more than zero, and if it's more than zero, it it grabs the first record from the response that was fetched from the API, and it grabs the keys, the columns basically, and it assigns it to the columns variable, and then it sets the busy to false. And if there's an error, it converts the error into a string and gives a pop-up message. So we'll save this, and what we'll do is we're going to play this, and we'll log in using the uh, J credential. So J, as we configured in the ArcIAM, so if we open up the permission for agent J, so J has a security clearance of level 3, and J has a permission to the aliens. Okay, so that's why the aliens uh, menu is available. So when I click on aliens, it should retrieve the aliens. It's not doing that, so let's have a look at the error. So there's an error. Uh, oh, the aliens is probably, let's have a look at it. It's aliens. Uh, show aliens. Oh, we haven't populated the aliens yet, so we're on the agents. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll log in using agent K because we assigned permission to agent K. So I'll log out, and I'll refresh this one and log in as agent K instead. Okay, so let's look at the aliens menu, and there is no response. So let's have a look. Sorry, the agents menu. Okay, so when I click on the agents, okay, so it looks like uh, it's successful. So when I click on the agents, the show agents is called, and it's executed that code. Okay, next we'll do the aliens. So the aliens is going to be uh, taken from the finished code. So I have here the show aliens, and then I'll walk you through that code. So in the show aliens, if the user has access to the aliens application, then the show aliens is going to show up. Uh, sorry, the aliens menu is going to show up, and when you click that, it will go to the show aliens method. And what is happening is that it's assigning this object, the Vue.js object, to a variable called me. The reason why we're doing that is because when Axios returns, that the this is no longer available. So it's a different object. So if you call this here, so uh, we'll set the busy to true, so it will show the icon, the busy icon, and then we'll set the table name to aliens, and then it will go call the aliens URL. So we haven't defined that, so we'll what we'll do is we'll define this API, the alien. So we'll go to the uh, designer. So what I'll do is I'll do a shortcut by cloning the orchestration for the agents. So here in the integration orchestrations, in I will do is I will clone uh, uh, the MIB agent retriever, and it will be uh, assigned the name of underscore clone, and then we'll edit that and we'll rename it. So we'll say aliens retriever. Now, we're going to rename the web ID, so we can't serve on the same web ID as the agent retriever. So I'll make changes to this one. I'll set it to 5. I will retain the same IAM ID because we're securing this with the same IAM generated. And then the application role, we'll set it to alien administrator. Okay. So aliens, the application is aliens and the role is admin. And then the security clearance is level 1. And then we'll set the ArcNoSQL retriever to retrieve from the aliens collection, and then we'll set the filter. So I'll show you what's actually going on this filter. So this is an expression, and when it is evaluated, so uh, when we execute it, so what we'll do is we'll go to this instances, and we'll click on graph. Okay, so because we run the agents retriever, when we click on the agents menu, I can click on the graph, and what we'll do is we'll study the filter. So the filter is basically going to be interpreted as this. So the reason why I'm putting double uh, curly braces there is because it will it will uh, basically it won't interpret that. So that's and this is how it should look like. So the okay, uh, so next what we'll do is we'll go and complete this. So this is the clearance level uh, is less than or equal to the security clearance of the agent that is accessing this, and that is basically fetch the clearance. The security clearance is fetched from the JW2E token, which is defined in the Arc IAM window. Okay, so we'll say this is aliens and then retain the other and we'll save that. So I'm going to hit on play and then we'll take the ID of the web ID, and I'll go to Postman, and what I'll do is I will uh, hang on, let me just think it's this one authorization. Okay, so it looks like it's this one. So Arc Cloud, Arc Integrator, API. We have dev JWT, process JSON, and then we give it the ID of the web. So it's this one. And the authorization is a bearer token, and we'll grab the uh, bearer token from the this one here. So we'll use K and then we'll grab the. So this bearer token is 15 minutes valid only, and so every 15 minutes you have to get a fresh token and to be able to call the API. Okay, so it's come back. Okay, so we'll use this. We have to deploy that. So it looks like that is running successfully, no error. So what I'll do is I will deploy this. I will save and close the MIB alien retriever orchestration and deploy that. So the alien retriever is going to be deployed by clicking on the deploy and then we'll wait until it's deployed. So once it's deployed, you can call it from the this URL. So the web this dev you have to replace it with web and retain the other uh, parameters. So click on send, and that is basically deployed to production. So it's returning that. So we'll grab this and we'll put this in the developer tool that we're using. So we'll populate the API retrieve aliens URL with that value, and then we'll grab the. Oh, okay, it's already there. So the show aliens code is there. Uh, so what we'll do is we'll save that and we'll play it. Okay, so now we're going to log in, which using agent J at mib.com and then put in the J's password. So J only has access to alien, so I'll click on that. And also, the clearance level of J is only level 3, so he can only see aliens uh, with a clearance level of 2 or 3, so or lower than or equal to 3. So that is defined in his IAM access. So yeah, so agent J has a clearance level of 3. Next, what we'll do is we'll log in as K and see. So what I'll do is I'm going to log out, and so the logout we don't have code for that yet. So I'll grab the code for the logout from the finished, and so the logout. and put that in the here. Okay. So basically, the logout will say that will set the logged in to false, the aliens access to false, agents to false, and it will clear the records and the columns, and it will clear the table name. So yeah, so that's and then you're back to the the login screen. So we'll say j at mib.com. B. Okay. So I think we have completed this. So uh, I'll conclude this demo.